Youth, arise, awake, and know your strength. By Swami Srikantananda. What we want is muscles of iron and nerves of steel. We have wept long enough. No more weeping. But stand on your own feet and be men. It is a man-making religion that we want. It is a man-making theories that we want. It is a man-making education all around that we want. And here is the test of truth. Anything that makes you weak physically, intellectually, and spiritually, reject as poison. There is no life in it. It cannot be true. Truth is strengthening. Truth is purity. Truth is all knowledge. Swami Vivekananda. Introduction. He is an atheist who does not believe in himself. The old religion said that he was an atheist who did not believe in God. The new religion says that he is an atheist who does not believe in himself. Swami Vivekananda. Blaming others for anything and everything has become a chronic disease with us. Why should we expect someone to come and help us? To depend on others is slavery. No good comes of blaming fate, karma, or circumstances. Only a man of confidence can convert challenge into an opportunity. Confidence is not a gift of God. It has to be cultivated with self-effort and diligence. Success stories of great people reveal the truth that in spite of their tremendous confidence, they were not always successful. But the only difference between ordinary people and great ones is this. Great people never consider defeats and failures as obstacles. On the contrary, they turn them into stepping stones to success. Whereas ordinary people get discouraged and stop moving further. Great people are fully aware of power within themselves, capable of overcoming huge obstacles and continuing their march till they reach their desired goal. Fool never begins a work for the fear of failure. The mediocre gives up in the middle, frustrated by obstructions. But the man of confidence never gives up, in spite of failures, till the goal is reached, says the poet. Second, self-confidence versus ego. There is a very thin line dividing confidence and ego. Most of the time, we get confused and fail to decide whether we are on the right track or our ego is dominating in the guise of confidence. When ego dominates, every success turns into failure. One has to be very careful about it. How to distinguish between confidence and the ego? Here are some points to clarify this doubt. A man of confidence says that he can do the work and others can also do it. Whereas a man of ego says that he alone can do it and nobody else can. B. A man of confidence always tries to encourage and help others in building their confidence, whereas a man of ego tries to curb and discourage others when they try to come up in life. C. A man of confidence always attracts people. Even the weak feel confident and elevated in his presence and get inspiration in his company. Whereas an egoist person creates repulsion in the minds of people who try to avoid him because of his boastful nature. D. A man of confidence appreciates the success of others and shares his happiness with them. Whereas a man of ego discourages and humiliates others and feels jealous of success of others. E. There is joy in working with people of confidence because they are always cheerful and can mix freely with everybody. In the presence of egoist person, even the men of confidence feel an inferiority complex. They feel nervous to work with them. F. A man of confidence always commands love and respect, whereas a man of ego always demands and expects love and respect. G. Confident people are always successful in every field of life because they can conquer the heart of all by putting their faith and confidence in others and receive all help and cooperation from colleagues and friends. A man of ego always suffers setback and failures, losing men and power because of their arrogant approach which adds only to their worries and tension. H. In one word, a man of self-confidence puts his faith in the innermost divine self the source of all power and energy, and also feels the presence of the divine in everyone while dealing with them. Whereas the egocentric person puts his faith only in his mental and intellectual abilities and skills, forgetting the divine which operates through the mind and intellect out of ignorance. He applies the same standard while dealing with others. He is only aware of weaknesses and drawbacks and never realizes that the perfect divine is hidden behind these superficial appearances, which can be awakened by constant training and positive approach. Third, self-confidence versus overconfidence. There are two types of people, realistic and idealistic. Both are needed for betterment of society. Idealistic people need to develop a little practical wisdom to execute their ideas according to changing circumstances and should be a little liberal to accept slight modifications and adjustment in the practical field to work out their plans successfully. But if they stick to their ideology without realizing practical difficulties, if they never try to listen to the people of their practical experience and working skills and are unwilling to accept any advice from anybody, they can be called overconfident people. For example, he who has never got into a plane trying to occupy the seat of the pilot, or one who has never held a gun is ready to go to the battlefield, or a person terribly afraid of water trying to cross the ocean by swimming. Duryodhana also committed the same mistake. He knew the strength of Pandavas, whom Sri Krishna himself was protecting. Overconfident Duryodhana underestimated the strength of his opponent and lost everything. Again, there are people with tremendous capacity to perform wonders but who are not aware of their own strength. They always undermine their ability and try to avoid tasks. All they need is a little motivation, reminder and inspiration. They will do wonders. The moment you awaken that giant within them, they will do wonders. Mahavir Hanuman had all powers and strength within him to cross the ocean, but he was not aware of that. When Jambavan reminded him of his strength, his confidence was awakened and he reached Ceylon jumping across the ocean in search of Mother Sita. Mahatma Gandhi, in his book My Experiment with Truth, tells us how his teacher was an instrument for his learning Sanskrit when he had lost all confidence in himself. He writes, Sanskrit, however, proved a harder task. In geometry, there was nothing to memorize, whereas in Sanskrit, I thought everything had to be learned by heart. The boys used to talk among themselves that Persian was very easy. The easiness tempted me, and one day I sat in the Persian class. The Sanskrit teacher was grieved. He called me to his side and said, I want to teach you students Sanskrit to the best of my ability. If you have any difficulty, why not come to me? As you proceed further, you will find in it things of absorbing interest. You should not lose heart. Come sit again in the Sanskrit class. Today, I cannot but think with gratitude of Sri Krishna Sankar Pandya. If I had not acquired the little Sanskrit that I learned then, I would have found it difficult to take any interest in our sacred books. How a little motivation and kind words of his teacher could instill confidence in the heart of Mohan Das. In spite of hard work and sound preparation, why are some students not able to succeed in examination? Lack of self-confidence. The moment they enter the examination hall, the demon of fear robs them of self-confidence and makes them commit mistakes. All these things happen due to fear of examination. What to do in such a situation? Make your mind calm and tranquil. Give positive suggestions to your mind, such as the question paper is very easy. I know all the answers very well. I'm not going to make even a single mistake. I'm sure that I will get a very good rank this time. Then pray to God for 2 minutes to help you in concentrating your mind on the answers. Read all the questions carefully and understand properly with full confidence. Start writing your answers and you will succeed. Same method can be applied before commencing any task if you feel nervous and defeated. How to build self-confidence. What makes you weak, my friend? In you is all power. Summon up your all-powerful nature, O Mighty One, and this whole universe will lie at your feet. It is the self alone that predominates and not matter. Swami Vivekananda. Though the potential strength is hidden within us, we are not able to utilize it. Right attitude, positive thinking, and firm faith alone can help us to manifest this hidden strength within. How do great people achieve success in life? They cultivate certain qualities in order to awaken hidden confidence within themselves. Why not we also give a try if we wish to be great and successful in life? First, conviction. The very first step in climbing the ladder of self-confidence is firm conviction about one's own ability. People are afraid of accepting challenges and responsibilities because they doubt their capacity to perform well. They underestimate themselves and lose wonderful opportunities in life. Such doubting Thomases will never be able to say with confidence that they can do anything and everything. So never doubt your inner strength. You may not be aware at present, but believe that infinite power is lost within you and you will come out with all its glory when you sincerely call upon it by the way of positive attitude. Swami Vivekananda said, "Never mind failures, they are quite natural. They are the beauty of life, these failures. What would life be without them? I never heard a cow tell a lie, but it is only a cow, never a man. So never mind these failures, these little black slidings. Hold on to the ideal 1,000 times. And if you fail 1,000 times, make the attempt once more." How true it is. Thomas Alva Edison, one of the greatest scientists, Thomas Alva Edison, one of the greatest scientists who made a series of inventions, had great conviction in his capacity. He had made over 1,000 experiments before he succeeded in inventing electric bulb. Though he was born in a poor American family and was dull in his study, nothing could obstruct his path or prevent him from great achievement because of his firm faith in his inner strength. Great convictions are the mothers of great deeds. Swami Vivekananda. Second, hard work. Nothing great comes unless we work for it. Dreams can never become a reality without hard work. Fortune approaches him who is industrious. It is the weak-minded who says fate gives. No acts are done by mere desires. They are done only by diligence. The deer does not enter the mouth of a sleeping lion. Men obtain the desired fruit by personal effort, while those wanting in manliness speak of destiny only. Neither the lazy nor those who depend solely on destiny fulfill their objective. Therefore, one should persist in self-effort by all means. These are the words of scriptures. Genius is 1% inspiration and 99% perspiration, says Thomas Alva Edison. There are many stories of success. Among them was a world-renowned speaker, Demosthenes. How could he achieve that? He had a strong desire to become a powerful speaker. This was not an easy task for him. He had a stammer. Added to that, he was not able to speak long sentences at a stretch due to stage fear, feeble voice, and many such difficulties. But he could succeed only through hard work. As per doctor's advice, he placed beads of flint on his tongue and tried to utter words clearly and loudly. He would stand before the sea and deliver speeches in loud voice. He spent almost 15 hours a day studying books of various interests and become a reservoir of knowledge. To perfect his manners and gestures, he would stand before a life-size mirror and deliver his speeches, bolting the room from inside. Hard work and sincere effort ultimately resulted in success, and he became a powerful and effective public speaker. Let us have a high dream and hard work to manifest that hidden power within. By constant effort, success is bound to come. To succeed, you must have tremendous perseverance, tremendous will. I will drink the ocean, says the persevering soul. At my will, mountains will crumble up. Have that sort of energy, that sort of will, hard work, you will reach the goal. Swami Vivekanand. Third, willpower. We are experts in taking vows and breaking them within no time. It is easy to take vows but difficult to keep them up. We need the will of Bhishma, who took a lifelong celibacy and practiced it diligently. Weak minds always search of excuses. The mind is fickle and restless by nature, always ready to compromise and facilitate. Those who possess a strong will and are determined to achieve great things never listen to their minds. They are masters of their minds. They make their minds work for them to achieve higher things in life. King Vishwamitra was arrogant and created problems for sage Vasishtha. But when he was humiliated by Vasishtha, realizing the strength of spiritual knowledge, he decided to become Brahmarshi. He was caught in the web of lust when Menka tempted into indulgence. He had to overcome all the impediments such as anger, hatred, jealousy, pride, envy, delusion for the attainment of that state. He could succeed because of his tremendous willpower. He was never disheartened by failure. His determination and willpower helped him to awaken confidence, which in turn led him to success. You must not say that you are weak. How do you know what possibilities lies behind that degradation on that surface? You know but little of that which is within you. For behind you is the ocean of infinite power and blessedness. Swami Vivekanand. Fourth, self-respect. It is a well-known fact that men of hard work, knowledge, wisdom and perfection are always honored and respected everywhere. Whereas the ignorant, inefficient, lazy and dull people always face humiliation and insult. There are people who, in spite of being humiliated, insulted, warned several times, issued memos, scolded for their blunders and even punished, never try to improve themselves. They are people with a thick skin. They suffer from all kind of physical and mental torture but don't want to change their attitude due to lack of self-confidence. But sensitive people consider humiliation worse than death and always try to improve in order to protect their honor and self-respect. Love for dignity and honor helps them to manifest hidden confidence within themselves, and they rise to the occasion and prove their mettle by accepting challenges in life. The great poet Kalidas was an illiterate and dullard. Some pundits who had been defeated on argument by a highly intelligent princess, Vidyotama, got her married to Kalidas in a deceitful manner out of jealousy. When the truth came out, she felt greatly disturbed and admonished Kalidas for his ignorance. His honor was at stake. He felt deeply hurt and humiliated. He took it as a challenge and decided to become a learned man. This feeling of self-respect ignited his confidence. He left home and returned after he had become a man of profound learning. Number 5, long preparation. It's not enough to manage things, but it is important to manage them well. Great things happen not out of magic or miracle, but out of systematic preparation. Those who do not prepare well and try to manage things haphazardly always meet with embarrassment and utter failure. Most of the time, keep on thinking about goals, but do not pay attention to the minute details which will help them to achieve it. We all know that 11th September 1893, Vivekanand became a world-famous figure when he addressed the Parliament of Religions in Chicago. But we forget that the success did not come even to great Swamiji overnight. Preparation started from the day he came into contact with his master, Sri Krishna, at the age of 17. Sri Ramakrishna knew his disciple Narendranath was going to become a world teacher, and he molded his life accordingly. Training of the Guru, first-hand knowledge during his wandering day, deep study of scriptures and different branches of knowledge, his love and compassion for entire mankind, spiritual discipline, and realization of ultimate reality were the factors behind his success. Without proper preparation, no man can be confident of success. Pay as much as attention to means as to the end. Swami Vivekananda. Number 6. Communication. Many have achieved success only through the power of perfect communication. There are people who can be compared with a huge reservoir of knowledge and information, but not always effective and inspiring due to lack of communicative ability. If you can speak even a few words with confidence that will impress people by your effective communication, it will boost your confidence. Many people talk. Some are able to express. Only a few can convey their ideas in an effective manner. Conquering people through arguments may give you confidence, but this will never lead to success. Convincing people through loving, affectionate, polite, pleasant voice not only gives you confidence, but leads to success. Convincing people through loving, affectionate, polite and pleasing language not only gives you confidence, but leads you to success. Mahabir Hanuman was sent by Sugriva as a spy to inquire into the purpose of Sri Rama's entry to his territory. During the very first meeting, Mahabir could conquer the heart of Sri Ram by his sweet, soothing, pleasant and polite language. Sri Rama was all praise for his skills of communication. Many lose confidence and feel nervous and depressed because of their poor expression. Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, the first Home Minister of independent India, had a Herculean task before him. At that time, India was divided into 554 states ruled by different kings and nawabs. Divide and rule was the policy of the British government. Patel was against it and wanted to unite India. To convince 554 kings and to make them surrender was not an easy task. He was confident of his ability to convince them about the great cause. He could successfully accomplish that because of his effective communication. Except one or two, all were convinced about his views and surrendered the state to make India a united power. It is only a few that understand the language of the brain, but everyone understands the language that comes from the heart. Swami Vivekananda. Number 7. Commitment. Commitment and confidence always go together. The moment we forget our commitment to a particular cause, we lose the faith in ourselves and try to justify our weaknesses. How many people remember that they are the citizens of free India and are committed to serve the cause of the nation? Very few indeed. You can count them on the tips of your fingers. Mahatma Gandhi could have settled down in South Africa, but his commitment to his country forced him to return. Though the people did not believe him in the beginning, he was confident that he could win freedom for India through the power of non-violence. Even when he was a student and wanted to go to London for studies, Mother Putli Bai was not wholeheartedly willing to send him there, feeling that Mohandas may not be able to resist temptation in a foreign land and spoil his life. She wanted him to promise that he would never touch wine, meat, and consequently associate with women during his stay there. Without a moment's hesitation, Mohandas agreed to her conditions. It was not an easy task for him. Many times temptations came, but his commitment to his mother saved him from all dangers and gave him tremendous confidence to overcome all difficulties in his path. Let the sages blame or let them praise. Let the goddess of fortune come or let her go wherever she likes. Let death come today or let it come in hundreds of years. He indeed is the steady man who does not move 1 inch from the way of truth.